Hey food friends, welcome to my channel. I'm going to show you how to make a savory Asian fusion meat sauce to make this Asian fusion pasta shell recipe. This recipe is super budget friendly and costs only about $6 in ingredients. I will show you two ways of serving this up that are both super delicious. Let's get started. I have 2.5 cups of medium shells and it costs about $1. This is a third of a 900 gram pack that was $3. I cooked it al dente and you can follow your pasta cooking instructions on your package. And then I just tossed it in a little olive oil and tried to separate them from sticking to each other. In a deep skillet on medium high, add a tablespoon of olive oil and I'm using half a pound of ground pork, which is just around $2 or $2.50. You can use whatever ground meat you'd prefer. I'm also using half a white onion. While your meat cooks, dice your onion. Flip your meat around so it gets some color on both sides. I want to break this meat apart really well and get little fine pieces, so I'm just going to use a potato masher. This meat has been cooking for about 5 minutes now, and I'm going to add my onions. Peel, finely chop, and add 4 cloves of garlic. I'll be using a few stalks of green onions, and I'm just going to chop the thicker parts and add that to the cooking meat, and then I'll save some of the thinner parts later for a garnish. This smells incredible already, and something like this could easily be served over rice. I'm using reduced sodium soy sauce and adding 1 tablespoon. If you're using regular soy sauce, you should probably just add maybe 1 teaspoon. I love trying pasta in many different ways, including Indian style pasta and Asian style pastas. It's a nice switch up from just the standard tomato sauce. Add a generous amount of fresh cracked black pepper. I'm going to be using tomato paste in this recipe as well, and I have a pack of frozen tomato paste, and I just keep it flat and freeze it flat, and then I can break it into pieces and just use it whenever I want to in my recipes. So this is about 2 tablespoons. This is a great way to prolong the life of your tomato paste and save it in the freezer, especially if you buy and use the large cans to save money. I'm using 1 tablespoon of oyster sauce. Add a splash of water so everything can cook together nicely for a couple minutes. The tomato paste won't take long to melt and cook into the recipe. I'm adding a generous pinch of chili flakes. Add another splash of water. We want this to be saucy but not watery, and then just cook this for another couple minutes. Turn your heat off and add your pasta. Of course, you can use whatever type of pasta you'd like for this recipe. Any shape will do well, even spaghetti. Mix everything really well together. I know everyone's talking about hamburger helper and struggle meals, and honestly, this costs less than making hamburger helper because ground beef is really expensive as it is, so trying a different ground meat alternative is a great way to make your kind of hamburger helper at home. This is a yummy bite, and those oyster sauce and soy sauce just adds a great flavor. Adding green onions at the end really brings out the flavor in this recipe. and that freshness of the green onion goes really well with the Asian sauces used in this recipe. This has a great flavor of savory with a slight sweetness from the oyster sauce and tomato paste, and then that nice spiciness from the chili flakes. You can serve this as is, but I want to show you another version where I'm going to add some broccoli. Using the same pan on medium-high heat, I'm adding some water and just the bits of my broccoli stem. I'm using one small head of broccoli that costs around $1. And I do like to cook most of the stems that are edible because once they soften up, they're just as tasty as the broccoli. Let this cook in steam for a couple minutes. Because the broccoli stalk does take longer to cook, that is why I cook this for a few minutes before I add the broccoli florets. Add your broccoli florets and a splash of water, and then we're going to cook this for 3 minutes. You'll notice I'm not adding any seasonings to this. The pan already has nice seasonings, so we don't need any more salt in this dish. You could also use peas in this recipe and it would be really tasty, or you can even add some carrots or cauliflower, whatever veggies you have. My broccoli is nice and fork tender, so I'll just cook this until the water fully evaporates, and then I'm going to turn the heat off and add my pasta. Mix everything really well together. And there you have it, our Asian fusion pasta shells. The color is gorgeous from the tomato paste, and it smells incredible, and I love the added nutrients of some vegetables in there. This recipe makes 3 large servings that comes in about $2 per serving. Give this recipe a try and go feed yourself. Thanks for watching.